5 easy steps for students to fill out a FAFSA. The FAFSA. What do these letters mean? What's the point of the FAFSA? Do you really need one for school? First, why does the FAFSA matter? If you want options beyond paying for college entirely out of your own pocket, the FAFSA form is super important to fill out. You have nothing to lose, so you should definitely fill one out if you plan on attending technical school. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It's your key to getting access to federal grants and student loans to help pay for school. Why are these important? Grants are gift aid money for school. You don't have to worry about paying them back. Sweet! Federal student loans have low fixed interest rates compared to getting a loan from somewhere else, like a bank. Federal student loans are your best bet for a lower interest rate on what you owe back. Some states also use the FAFSA to determine state financial aid, including scholarships. Did you know Universal Technical Institute and our family of schools make more than $15 million in scholarships and grants available? It'll take around 45 minutes to an hour to complete your FAFSA once your federal student aid account has been verified. So, how do you fill out the FAFSA? 5 easy steps. Let's get started. Number 1, head to fsaid.ed.gov. This is where you'll create your federal student aid ID. You can also download the My Student Aid mobile app to do it all right from your mobile phone. First things first, you'll need to create an account for yourself. Your parents should not create one for you. However, if you're a dependent and your parents' income will be listed on the FAFSA, they'll also need to create their own federal student aid ID. Wondering if you're a dependent? Keep watching this video to find out. If you're a dependent, you'll need your parent's signature on your FAFSA application once it's all filled out. Only one legal parent in each household needs a federal student aid ID. Your account is your own. Their account is theirs. Keep in mind you can only use one unique mobile number with each account. Pro tip: get these things ready before you create your federal student aid ID account. Your social security number, your mobile phone number, your personal email address. Then click Create Account to get started. Which brings us to step number 2, create your account. You'll be asked to submit your personal identifying information to create your account. Your account may take a day or two to get verified by the Social Security Administration, but you most likely will be able to use it immediately after you create it. Once it's verified, you can fill out the FAFSA. Let's get this. Pro tip: use a personal email, not a school email, since you'll need access to your account after you graduate. Now that you're ready to fill out the FAFSA, let's head to step 3. Gather the information you'll need. Now that you have a confirmed federal student aid ID, you can complete your FAFSA. But in order to submit it, you'll need the following information: Social Security number, alien registration number and driver's license number, if you have them, federal tax returns and any other federal tax documents, like W-2s and 1099s, records of untaxed income, cash, savings, and checking account balances, investments other than the home in which you live. If you're a dependent student, you'll need all of the above info for your biological or adoptive parents too. If your parents own assets in addition to a primary home and a car, like a vacation home or business with more than 100 employees, you'll also need to list that information. If you're not a dependent, you don't have to submit your parents' information. Which brings us to another pro tip: how to tell you're not a dependent student. Wondering if you're a dependent or not? If your answer is yes to any of the following questions, you won't need to provide your parents' information. If your answer is no to all of the following questions, you'll need to provide parental information. Were you born before January 1, 1998? Are you serving on active duty in, or are you a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? Since you turned age 13, have both of your parents been deceased? Have you been a dependent or ward of the court since turning age 13? Are you married? Have you been in foster care since turning age 13? Are you currently or were you an emancipated minor? Do you have or will you have children for whom you will provide more than half of their support between July 1, 2021 and June 30, 2022? Do you have dependents, other than children or your spouse, who live with you and you provide more than half of their support? Are you currently or were you in legal guardianship? Are you homeless or are you at risk of being homeless? Only parents who are listed on your birth certificate or who have legally adopted you will need to be listed. You don't need to add information for your legal guardians, foster parents, or other non-adoptive guardians. Question: what if you're a dependent, but your parents are divorced or separated? In that case, you'll need the information for the parent you lived with the majority of the time over the course of the past 12 months. If you split your time 50-50 with your parents, you'll need the information of the parent who provides more financial support. Now, let's move on to step number 4. Go to FAFSA.gov to complete the FAFSA. Here, you'll use your Federal Student Aid ID to log in and fill out the FAFSA. If you have everything you need with you, you'll be able to complete the form in less than an hour. If you don't have all the info you need yet, that's okay. You can still enter what you know, save your FAFSA, and come back to it. Pro tip: it helps to have your and your parents' tax returns, if you need them, in front of you as you fill out the FAFSA information. Details like addresses should match what's on the tax return. You can save your FAFSA and return to it as you're working on it. Make sure all the information you put in, including your parents' information, is correct. As you fill out the FAFSA, you'll also be asked to input the school code or codes of where you're considering to attend. Keep in mind, some schools have the same code, so you might see a different school than the one you're attending when you input the code. For example, if you're going to NASCAR Technical Institute, UTI Avondale, Arizona will show up because they have the same codes. You can also contact the UTI Financial Aid team to get this information. Watch out for contact information at the end of this video. And finally, number 5. Sign your FAFSA. Now for the fun part: signing your FAFSA and sending it off to see if you qualify for federal student aid. You'll sign your FAFSA using your Federal Student Aid Account ID. If you're a dependent and your parents also need to sign your form, they'll use the Federal Student Aid Account ID they created for themselves to sign your form. If your parent wasn't able to create a Federal Student Aid Account ID because they're not a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen, your parent will have to print, sign, and mail the signature page. The FAFSA portal will prompt them to do that. If your family doesn't have a printer, no worries. You can submit the FAFSA without having your parent's signature and have it partially processed. Once you submit the FAFSA without a parent's signature, just give the UTI FAFSA team a call at 1-844-338-0032. We'll mail a signature page to you to sign and send back. Pro tip: triple check everything on your FAFSA is correct and that all the information matches yours and/or your parents' tax returns before you submit. We wouldn't want you to miss out on that sweet, sweet financial aid because there's a mismatch in information. So there you have it, a quick guide to filling out the FAFSA. Once you've completed it, your FAFSA will be processed and sent to the schools you listed on the form. So make sure to list whatever Universal Technical Institute school you're interested in attending. After that, look out for an offer for federal aid from each school you've applied to and list it on your FAFSA. Want more assistance with the FAFSA? We're here to help. Visit uti.edu/FAFSA support to book a time to talk with our team, or call toll-free at 1-844-338-0032. Visit uti.edu/financial aid for more information.